Hello there, everyone. Welcome to the World of Momus podcast. And today on Reflections on Reactions, I have another one of my reflections video. Because as you might have guessed, if you had listened to 2 weeks prior, I think so it would be at this time, because I'm recording these episodes all in one go, because I still don't have internet at the new place where I moved. So I thought I'll record some of these videos and schedule them to go ahead at a particular time, at a particular day, in the weeks till I can get internet, basically. Anyways, so in this episode today, I want to sort of share a bit about why I created this podcast, this channel, whatever you want to call it. To be honest, but before also I want to talk about like how there's this concept that I've seen like on the internet where people think just because someone has a lot of views, a lot of impressions, a lot of views, or whatever, that means what they're talking about is valid. Like as if the argument is true on the on the strength, of their popularity. But we know that doesn't work, right? Because if that was the case, then you would have to concede that perhaps programs like Love Island is the best entertainment ever produced, right? Or is it, or if it's programs like that are a good thing for our society to indulge in mindlessly all the time, right? Which we know they're not. Like, okay, but entertainment is different, right? Because entertainment, you're switching off so you can have such mindless entertainment. um but it just doesn't mean like if someone is popular enough to garner a lot of views, that means whatever they're saying is valid. How have we come to this point of such popular opinions, in our mind setting like that, this celebrity sort of following and stuff. So let's say, let's pick whatever famous person. I can't even think about some famous person, but let's just pick whatever famous person says something about, um let's pick Joe Rogan. I agree with Joe Rogan on a lot of things, but let's imagine Joe Rogan was having some discussion about the Israel and Hamas or Iran conflict, and he was siding with the I- Iranian side for some reason, right? Uh, and just gave talking points or whatever, not even his thoughts. He just gave talking points just because he's popular, and he will get millions of views, millions more views than any other people. Would that just make his argument valid? No, right? Like, because you will have to objectively see things, but we're not doing that. This disease that I've seen has come from a lot from America during the uh, pandemic time, when we were all stuck in and listening to podcasts, and it gave their podcasting world big boost. Not just there, but overall in Britain as well, and in Europe as well, because we had nothing to do and we wanted to watch something more than what the mainstream media was offering, and the mainstream media was lying to us. So there are a lot of people, and now like people like Joe Rogan are not implicit in this, because they actually give out balanced views and have both guests and stuff as much as they can, and they're not purporting themselves as experts, right? But a lot of people came about who declared themselves as like political analysts or social commentators or experts in this sort of field, but they weren't really experts of any sort. What they were doing was they were sounding out ideas and thoughts of better thinkers, just parroting them. And while they were parroting them, they got lots and lots of views, because people were agitated, people were frustrated, people wanted to, have an outlet for their anger. So they garnered their viewership, their support in that way. And when they started, sort of spouting their own ideas, you know better thinkers could see that they were full of shit, you know but because they've risen so much in popularity, a lot of people could not differentiate that popularity with the validity of an argument. And so we have come to this point now where just because someone is famous, that means they can side with one or the other, and people will just start following them blindly. So this is a problem. Okay, circling back though, I was just noticing this phenomenon. It's just really annoys me at times, because I really, but when they are really heavy topics, very very difficult topics, very complex topics, and most of our topics are like that in the world. I mean, as in like the current affairs, which involves geopolitical or religious conflicts or cultural conflicts. That involve systems which are very complex. There are there's no simple ideas. Simple ideas are comforting ideas. That's why there's a range of conspiracy theories that you find. Like, yeah, the sounding out conspiracies, they're not conspiracies, they're actually hypotheses as such, and they turn out to be true, obviously, because better thinkers have thought about it. But they link the root causes of those conspiracies not to the complex nature of the systems and human beings, but to some sort of a cabal controlling things, so some sort of comforting ideas. These comforting ideas which can explain complex things into simple terms, so they don't have to investigate further into their own failings at times as well. So, circling back to what I was saying 7 minutes ago, I think so. Why I made this podcast? Well, what happened was it around 3 or so years ago? Was I was diagnosed with cancer, and they operated the cancer out, and it hasn't returned so far, thankfully. I get the test, so it hasn't, every time, every few months I get scans, so it hasn't returned so far, which is really good. 7 more years to go till I'm completely out of the woods with it. But at that time I just needed something to distract myself, and I always, like, it wasn't just at that time, it was just when it was diagnosed, not just after the operation. I mean, like, before the diagnosis, just before that, when it was sort of in the process. I wanted something to distract myself, and I love history and mythology, and that's why I created this podcast, to make myself research about historical points and mythological stories and stuff which I haven't studied before. So, to create an episode, what you have to do, you have to do a lot of research, and your research have to be targeted as well to produce a result, a summary of your analysis and stuff. But what it does is, like, makes you go ahead and read some targeted books and stuff, and read some articles, books, and, like, search up primary sources, try to understand why there's a that historical thing happened, different point of views and stuff, and its mythology, investigate the underlying meaning of the stories and stuff. I used to love doing that anyways, but it wasn't like I was very wavered with it, like here or there I would read stuff. So having a podcast really helped me, and it was never about, like, views. As you can see, I don't get, like, so many views anyways, so it's not like my podcast is popular. Maybe in years to come it might become popular, but who cares, right? It's just for me, basically. That's what I was doing. And this is why I never had conversations with people. I didn't have this reflections and reactions part as well. I used to give my weekly thoughts or something like that, I think so, which I might have removed, but never, like, conversations with people, because it was just for me. I didn't want to reach out to people and stuff. But when I think so, it was around before October 7th, a month or so before October 7th, I was on someone else's podcast, Atheism UK podcast and stuff, and I was warning about this attacks, not attacks, as in like the phenomena that might create attacks, right? The phenomena that was happening in Israel, and I was telling them that there's no concept of Palestine. They are notoriously known about this. They are notorious about it, about being a nuisance to the whole place, like those Bedouins who call themselves Palestinians. um and I was warning, like, there's dangers coming from Islamic world that people are not comprehending. And then October 7th happened, and I was really angry about the stuff that was happening. So and people reaching out to me and stuff like that, and we were having conversations on backgrounds with a lot of people. And I just decided, what, I'm just going to have people on and talk about it. And again, not a way for me to garner any views or anything, just um, a way for me to talk with people, have a reason, have an excuse to invite certain people on, which might not, I might not encounter in daily life, because I don't live in London and I don't move around in these circles. I have a day job and stuff like that, so let's reach out and let's see if they want to talk to me. And like, more and more people started talking to me, so it was very nice. And I think so I did a podcast in February or March, I can't remember, with Tommy Robinson. I went to his podcast, and he let me put the episode on as well. And that episode actually has got over 160,000 views on my own podcast, and obviously YouTube doesn't let me monetize it. But either way, it doesn't matter, right? So the point that I was trying to make, that I didn't make it to garner any views or anything like that. It was just, I just want, first of all, I just wanted to investigate into or research more into historical and mythological things. And the other thing was, I just wanted to talk to people, and I still do. It's still more of a, I want to talk to people, I don't care. That's why you might not see that much me promoting that much. I should be putting out more YouTube shorts of stuff. I use the software Riverside. If it creates good AI shorts, then I put it out there. It's just, I don't usually have the time, because I'm always reading or researching or doing my day job. So you don't really get that much time in between. So I hope you understand, like, I do put as much effort as I can into the podcast, because I want to give you something good as well. But at the same time, there's the reason is self exploration most of the time. Which isn't to say I don't care about your comments or views, or like your viewpoints that you put across to me. I'm very grateful that even like few hundred people, few thousand people are um, subscribe to it and watch to it and stuff. It's just saying, like, so you understand, like, I don't have an exterior, like, uh, I don't have a motive which is geared towards monetary benefits, right? That I'm not operating from a grifter point of view. I'm not being paid by someone to say the things that I do. It's just they are in my head, and they come out from time to time. And as you can see, like, I think so in this episode, instead of, like, because usually in these audio only episodes, I put my face, like, there's a logo of my face with the world of, or the Momus nudge me around it, not the world of Momus podcast. I usually put that in the middle of whatever background is there. But in this one, I put the logo of my podcast specifically over there. So if you can see the logo, there's a very intentionally that I made this logo. I make and edit everything, thumbnails or whatever, myself. So I don't give it out to anyone, because what's the point? um if you can see that logo, the reason why I made this logo was like two circles, and it's very self-evident, and the stuff in the middle, right? That's where I'm in the middle. So you might say, are you positioning yourself as a centrist? And I would say, yeah, for most part, like, yeah, because I don't believe in coming to the conclusions of conversations I've never had. right? So I can't have predetermined conclusions. I need to have the certain conversations, and not just with people, with myself, with my own thoughts and stuff before I can come to a conclusion, or move towards closer to a conclusion. So you have to be at a point where you have to take the ideas from all sides of the argument, especially in history. People, when people are researching history or mythologies and stuff like that, they need to have that mindset. They can't be biased. Yeah. So that's the idea of the logo, that I'm not really biased. I'll talk to anyone who is willing to talk with me in good faith, right? So there are a lot of people who I won't talk to. So I'm saying I will talk to anyone, but specifically saying anyone who would have conversations in good faith, right? Who is not, doesn't have nefarious intentions, and who doesn't want to deceive people willingly. Right. And I will research any historical point of view of historical topics and events and stuff like that, personalities, whatever, from a broader perspective and not from a biased perspective. And also admitting that even because I have indulged a lot in politics as well in this podcast, and you can't separate politics from from civilization, conversations about civilizations and stuff, because we are humans are a political animal, right? So when, even when it comes to politics, that symbol is there for a reason as well, because I believe that there's good points on both sides of the political spectrum, on the liberal side and the conservative side, or in these fake modern terms of the left and the right. And you have to take the good points from both, amalgamation of the good points from both, and discard the wrong points from both, and bad points from both, and forge a way ahead. So yeah, um I think so I rambled on for a bit too long. I only intended this to be probably 5-10 minutes, but anyways. So yeah, just that's what I wanted to share with you guys, why I started this podcast. Some of you might find those views interesting, but at least you know what place I'm coming from, when I talk to people, when I indulge in certain subjects and stuff. I'm not in your team as such, right? Like, I'm not part of your team. I'm not like part of a predetermined conclusion. I want to have conversations. I want to explore. I want you to explore with me as well. I want you to actually. I do want you to engage with me and give me point of views and stuff, especially on Twitter, because it's easier to monitor over there, and to interact over there. And I do change my mind when, like, when a good argument is given. So that's all part of learning. So yeah, I hope you find whatever I do interesting, and I also hope like that you can give me some constructive criticism, not on how to make my podcast popular, because I'm not. I don't think so. I'm interested in making it popular, but about things that I might not have read, or things that might have find interesting, or what you think on any of my certain points that you might disagree with, like how why you disagreeing with that, and so that gives me an opportunity to explore different perspective. Anyways, that's enough of that. Thank you for listening, and I'll catch you next time.